Ready to go on the record?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Morning, everyone. It is 9 o'clock on the dot. I would like to call to order the City of Lake Worth Beach Code Enforcement Special Magistrate hearing agenda for Thursday, April 28th, 2022. My name is Keith Davis. I'm the special magistrate appointed by the city to preside over today's hearing. Silence any cell phones if you would, please, so they don't interrupt our proceedings. That will be appreciated. Let's go ahead and have city staff and code enforcement officers who are going to be testifying sworn in. You can all stand and raise your right hand. I'm not used to everybody being in the room at the same time. One at a time. Do each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You can all have a seat. For folks who are here for a case, the way we will proceed, I know everybody should have signed up on a sign-in sheet. Generally, we take those cases as well as certain cases where city staff has to testify and be excused first. But when your case is called, if you'll please come up to the podium that's in front of me. For each case, we will proceed this way. I'll hear from the city first. There will be testimony from the code enforcement officer. There will also likely be some photographs or other documents that may appear on the screens, which you'll have an opportunity to observe. Once the city has completed its presentation and made any recommendations on a resolution of the case, it will then be your opportunity. I will come to you. I'll make sure you were sworn in, and then you'll have a chance to tell me anything that you feel is important about the case. If you have any questions for the city's witness or witnesses that testify, you have an opportunity to ask them questions about their testimony. If you have additional photographs or other documents that you want me to consider in ruling on the case, that will be the time to produce those. Once I've heard everything from everybody, in all likelihood today, I will enter an order that resolves the matter in some form or fashion. So with that general explanation, why don't we go ahead and get started?
Okay, we're going to go to page 2 of the agenda. Item number 6, case number 20-2153. This is a status fine assessment hearing for the property located at 1221 Lake Avenue. Property owner is Aldrina Guyan and Aldrina I. Guyan. And I believe it's, you can come up. I'm not sure who's presenting this. This is Yolanda. Who's presenting this? This is Peter Ringel's case, 1221 Lake Avenue.
You want to put that? Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one Scott is here for.
Okay, well, he needs the file. No, the magistrate.
So you want to give a little bit.
This is when you've heard it a couple of times, the orders are over.
Okay.
Okay. Today's March 1. Just state your name.
Good morning. For the record, Scott Rodriguez of the Planning and Zoning Division. I'm the principal planner.
Yes, sir.
I am the project manager for this project that has come in through our zoning development review process. Currently, the applicant has submitted a completeness, an application. And what we do is we go through what is called a completeness review to determine if the application is sufficient to move forward for a continued development review through our site plan review team, which is called the SPRT. Right now, we have submitted numerous completeness review follow-ups with the applicant. They are coordinating with us to move forward. And I can provide additional details of where they're missing some information or not. But right now, they're still moving forward with the zoning review to make sure that a minor, which is called a minor site plan amendment, is addressing their project and their issues.
Okay.
Scott, would you be okay with another continuance for this? If they're working with the city?
Yes.
So it looks like this was building permit, or doing work without a permit case. I think the original order goes back to February of 2021. And then there was another order in January of this year. And that scheduled today's hearing.
My recollection of this case, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that there was work without a permit, and they decided to do, to redevelop the site, to make a lot of modifications, so that's, instead of just correcting what was wrong with pulling those permits.
Okay.
Doing the complete change of the site, so that's taking some more time.
So it's going through the process. Is it proceeding? And from the city standpoint, is it proceeding in an appropriate
Yes.
pace at an appropriate?
Yes, like I said, there's some things we need, some things we need to go over, but I think generally the applicant is coordinating with staff to move this forward along.
Okay. Just. Morning, Ms. Robbins.
Good morning, good morning. I spoke with Peter Ringo. He's actually out of town right now. They've submitted 3 resubmittals that have been disapproved. So if we can get some kind of time certain on when they need the approvals, and even a bifurcate, something that we can get them to get the correct documents into Peter in a timely manner rather than just continuing the case. We can do that.
Okay.
What do you think it'll take when we get those approvals in?
We have actually.
So let me, Ms. Lanahan, did you have anything else to say?
For them, maybe 60 days to get the approvals necessary for the work? Okay. So if the city could request 60 days for the approvals, all approvals necessary to perform the work, that would be great. And then once they receive the permits, they have 180 days from the time of your permits to, to move forward. So,
I'm very.
Okay, so let me go ahead and hear from respondent. Ma'am, go ahead and put your name and address on the record.
Good morning, my name is Alejandrina Isabel Rejon. I own 1221 Lake Avenue. We've been in this process since 2020. I understand that we did some work without a permit, and right away we decided to just do a whole remodel. We're very eager to get this going. Last time I saw you, we came here, there was someone had, I guess, left the city. So all our paperwork was completely lost. So now we're back at it again, starting all over again. My understanding, we have everything that we have submitted already. Drainage plan, which was the last thing, we did that already. The paint swatches and all that, we brought that in. If anything else we need to do, we will do it. We're very, very eager to start this project.
Okay. Do you have, I'll ask you first, ma'am, do you have any sense for why the submittals were rejected or what needs to be done? And if you don't, then let me ask the city.
No idea. We have the architect is on hand, the builder, we have everyone has submitted all our side, whatever you have asked for us, we have done it. To our understanding, it's the right way. I think the last time was the drainage plan wasn't signed by it wasn't sealed. It was, in my understanding it was, but we contacted them again and had them.
this is from Peter Ringo.
The record, this is an email from the building official. The reason I'm asking the question is I think the city's suggestion on how to proceed, it makes sense, but I don't want to set this up for failure. I want to make sure 60 days is enough time given good faith efforts to actually accomplish that.
And I can speak to the completeness reviews.
Sure.
They're on their 3rd completeness review. She's correct. They've submitted a lot of hard copies. We need the digital files. We have requested digital files several times. As soon as we get that, we can route that to all departments. That's how they conduct their review through the digital files. And as soon as we get that, we can send it out to the team. and we can get this process moving forward.
So the submission by the applicant of a digital file is what's missing.
Yes, correct.
All right, do you understand what,
I understand that, and so we were told that it was in a USB, we brought that in, it's not like that anymore, we have sent it and somehow it doesn't go through of how, when we send it, but we have the hard copies, digital USB, we have the USB here. Bring that in today.
well, can you guys, in terms of the logistics, can you make sure you speak this morning so that I want you to understand exactly what's necessary? Because I want you to get that done right away. What I don't want to have happen is we get to the end of June, 60 days down the road and
Yeah, I'm calling on the architect right now,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure we will get that done.
okay. All right, then, is there anything else you'd like to tell me, ma'am? I mean, I truly get the sense that you're,
Oh, I'm very eager, we're very ready for this, I've been waiting.
okay. Anything else from the city?
No.
All right. I think it's a good suggestion. For the record, the city has proper notice. The respondent is present at today's hearing. We're going to reset. I'm not going to take any action today other than to reset this hearing for, I need my
June
calendar,
30th.
June 30th, the date. So we'll set it for the June 30th agenda and at 9 o'clock. And
So
if it's resolved and if that resolves the case and you don't need it back in front of me, that's fine. If we need the hearing, that's fine. But as the city and as Ms. Robinson indicated, once you get your permit, then you're under the building code. You've got set periods of time to have certain inspections and activity occur without the building permit expiring.
Okay,
So,
so as of right now, it's just the digital copies that we need to submit.
Yeah,
that's what I have heard. So, and I would ask the two of you to speak
It's not USB.
before you leave, and so that you know exactly what format and what the content of that formatted document needs to
I
be.
understand that we did, but I guess.
All right.
We'll figure it out. Magistrate, this will be a status fine assessment on June 30th.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Is there anything else on this matter? All right. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, next, we're gonna go to page 8, item number 25, case number 21-1447. This is the status hearing for the property located at 2139 Second Avenue North. Property owner is Van Linda Ironworks, Inc. Officer Hicks.
Yeah.
It's a cigarette North Beach. It's going to be a status update for the property, which zoning will also be getting.
Okay.
Good morning again, for the record, Scott Rodriguez, principal planner with the Planning and Zoning Division. The 2139 Second Avenue North is currently in review, and we have been coordinating with the applicant since March, through March 8th and to today on completeness reviews. And also, this has been, site plan review team comment letter has been submitted to the applicant, identifying comments from staff of all departments. And I think a majority of the comments were from zoning staff. And right now it's moving forward. It's a minor site plan amendment. And they're going through the process of, right now they're in basically the second portion of process of SPRT.
Okay.
And as soon as we get the resubmittal of the applicant addressing the comments, we'll review it. We may go back to a second round of comments, or we may just move forward with a conditional approval letter, or addressing any comments or other conditions that may arise.
All right. Looks like I entered an order finding violation in January. Has between then and now, from the city's point of view, has this been moving through the process
Yes.
appropriately?
Yes, and I've been talking to the applicant, Ashley Hernandez, and coordinating with her on addressing questions and moving the process forward.
All right. Based on how things have gone so far, would this be another situation where 60 days should be enough time to bring this in for a landing in terms of plan review and getting a development order or permit?
think we need to talk about some of the comments that we raised from zoning and how the applicant's going to address that. I think 60 days is adequate. But I just want to, I don't want to jump the gun on any time frame because some of the comments that we've addressed are ways in how they can mitigate the administrative office request. So I'm not sure how they're going to address that yet, but we provided comments to that effect.
Okay, well, today was only set for a status hearing. Would the city's preference be to set this for a fine assessment / status hearing in a couple months, maybe on that June 30th date again, and see where we are? That'll give us options. Let me hear from the respondent. Ma'am, go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about what's been going on.
Sure, my name is Ashley Hernandez. This is regarding the property at 2139 Second Avenue North, Lake Worth Beach, Florida, 33461. I think you'll recall from our previous meeting here that I have a lot that was always historically used as vehicle storage. It became vacant for a short period of time as I was trying to remove all the leftover vehicles from the previous tenant. In that time frame, code enforcement came and indicated that I needed to register the vacant lot and also apply for a commercial rental license, which I was unaware. I was the new owner of the property at the time. And I guess additional items transpired based on the historical research that your legal team did on the property. They did allow me to go ahead and continue using the land as vehicle storage with certain conditions. One of those conditions was a minor site plan. And so I believe that transpired because my tenant inadvertently put a small pre-manufactured building on the lot without any permit or anything like that. And we weren't really aware that, they were putting it on there, nor because it was considered a shed, that it would require a permit. And so what happened is that you guys said, okay, well, if you want the building on the property, even though it's a shed, it's not adjacent or it's not connected to any other business, any other building. It can't be its own building unless you put it as a site plan. So I started to do the site plan in addition to perimeter landscaping. Both of the lots that are on that block are mine, and they're adjacent to each other and they have a fence between. So what I did was I put together the landscaping plan, got that all submitted, and that's, I believe, a different case. But in the meantime, I've been working on the minor site plan, and I have the architect drawings, everything, and I sent it in with the first time with questions on March 8th. I didn't get a response back from the city until April 21st. And I did get a response back. However, I had some additional questions, and those additional questions were asked on March 8th, and I did not get a response until April 21st. So that's one thing that I think, needs to be addressed. The other thing is that the city is proposing that I create unity of title for this property. I guess what they're saying is I can forego all of these red tape paperwork things if I just went ahead and unified the title from the 3787 address to the 2139 address. And I don't want to do that because I want to have the option to sell that property if I ever want to, without going to deunify the title. And then in addition, I'm not sure if the city is aware of this, but they're asking for electrical plans for that building. There is no utilities on that lot. There are no electrical hookups from the city, and there is no septic or anything on that lot. So if we need to submit electrical plans and all of that, we need a stub up or some sort of electrical utility option from the city installed.
Let me ask the city a question. Does the use require electricity? If they came in and said, we don't want electricity, we don't need electricity, do they have to get electricity for it to be compliant with building code?
Well, it's my understanding that the administrative office use would have to meet building code occupancy requirements. if that requires electrical, and again, I'm just a planner.
Understood.
So that's one of the issues related to this use. She's correct. The recommendation for unity of title would essentially it just have to be, you could have a shed there and it'd be accessory to the main principal use.
Seems to me this discussion happened at the last, I'm remembering this unity of title debate when we were here last. So that is something.
And I do want to address one more point. That is my fault. I didn't respond to her questions immediately. So I just want to, let you know that's my fault.
No problem. Yes, ma'am.
May I also say this, I see a non-concordance with the two divisions that are these two separate cases, because I put in a landscape plan, and if you want to look at these plans, whoever is in charge of that said that I needed landscaping. So I've spent $50,000 to put landscaping on the interior fence line of my property, even though it's adjacent to my own other property. And I brought that question up prior to during the last hearing. And again, the answer was unify the title. So I'm not sure what the reasoning is for that. However, at this point, after spending $50,000 to landscape the interior perimeter of my vacant or my lot, I don't think that now I should have to rip out all those plans and unify the title. And I basically spent all that landscaping money for nothing. I'm just very concerned that the two departments aren't either speaking to each other or there's something other thing going on here. And let me just say one more thing. The previous tenant that was in this property was literally using a camper trailer as their administrative office with extension cords to the camper trailer to power it. And I believe that's even how they use the restroom. I'm not sure. They tie into my power and I'm charged every day for their usage.
Okay.
So if they want me to continue on with the site plan approval, with the building, et cetera, then I need something from the city. I don't know how to call City of Lake Worth Utilities and ask for them to put power to that lot, its own power. I would love that. That would be fantastic. And I also told planning and zoning that in the future, this lease is up in 2 years. I would like to develop that land. So it would be a head start on developing that land, but I have to also have financial resources to do that.
I want to say how I'm recalling it, but can the landscaping issue that was brought up, is that part of what we're here about today?
It's the second case.
That's a totally different case. What's the case number you're working with? This is. Yeah, the landscape case is a different case. They've been cited twice.
What's this? Is that case on today's agenda as well? No.
You don't have 21, 1943.
I think that's already been heard of.
It has, it's no lien on the case, so.
Okay.
Sir, I apologize to interrupt. However, we had a hearing with the same date to return for a status update for both cases. And I'm here to show you today that we have rectified that previous case. And that's why I believe the code enforcement officer is here to handle that second case. It may not have been put on the docket, however.
The landscape was with Dave McGrew, our horticulturalist.
So there's a lien on the property, even though I'm in compliance. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, those are two separate issues.
Yeah, two separate cases.
Yeah.
The other magistrate heard the other case back in October.
Okay. All right, well,
Clearly, we need some more time to work with
Clearly.
the city and the applicant. So
I'm inclined to do a similar resolution on this matter today as we did on the previous case and set this for a fine assessment or status hearing, or both, on June 30th. And let's see if we can address this electricity issue and figure out a way to bring this in for a landing before June 30th. as long as I continue to see forward progress and good faith effort, I'm inclined to not be anxious to drop the fine assessment hammer, but I want to make sure that, we're not just spinning our wheels either. So,
I can go ahead and I can work with you on the landscape plan too. That is really generally a zoning review as well.
okay.
We do have a separate staff person who provides that review and analysis, but I can make sure that this gets coordinated together. And I work with Ashley to, continue to work these things out with her.
Yeah, and maybe even if that other case, even if there's a final order, if we can at least keep them together so that whether it's me or the other magistrate that you have, so we have both files and when we have a better sense of exactly what's going on. But for today, is there anything else, ma'am, that you'd like to tell me?
I just have no record of being a final order on the other case, and I'm concerned because now you're telling me there's a lien on the property for that.
Well, I'm not telling
I've
you
already been
anything.
in compliance with the landscape plan, and every time I've been here, both of these cases have been in concordance.
Well, I'm not taking any action at all on that case. And on this case, all I'm going to do today is basically reset this hearing. I would like to set it as a status hearing and or a fine assessment hearing, just to keep all of the city's options open. But I'm basically going to roll this to June 30th. And I would ask you all to work together on this electricity issue. I remember you saying you were not interested in unifying the lots, and I remember that discussion. So if that's not a realistic option, let's see if we can find the appropriate workaround that doesn't require that. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, that's good. Thanks.
That was the first.
Next, we're going to go to page 15 of the agenda, item number 46, case number 21-2492. This is a status fine assessment hearing for the property located at 1800 Madrid Avenue. Property owner is 1800 Madrid LLC, Fire Inspector Del Rossi.
Very thin file considering the size of the agenda. Where are we on this?
Okay, Inspector Del Rossi, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. This is status update for 1800 Avenue. When we were previously here in January,
Yes.
the contractor and I met that same day to go over some violations that we wanted corrected within 7 days. So I met with him directly after the hearing at the property. The top report that you have there
Yes.
is that inspection. The violations were to be cleared by February 3rd. They were not. I actually went out there March 7th to see if everything had been corrected. The only thing that was still pending was getting the sprinklers inspected at that point. And then if you look, there's a report under that as well, which is the original inspection. And that is up to date with everything I've received up till the date of yesterday. These are still the same violations that I still have open.
Okay, so there has been some forward progress, but there are still quite a few items that are outstanding. Okay. Let's see. Door inspection failed, another door inspection, another door.
Those are also, it's three separate violations for the door inspections. There's different doors that require the inspection. There's exit doors, fire rated doors. You have to put them in separate violations.
You've got labeling the breakers and the electrical panels, electrical panel cover. Those both failed. Inoperable exit sign failed. Fire extinguisher locations.
There's still a couple that weren't mounted properly or were too low. When I went back and there was still an exit sign that wasn't functioning.
Expired fire extinguishers, it looks like.
There was one or two that they had them come out, but they missed a couple of them.
Sprinkler spacing, location and positioning, is that, that sounds like a significant one.
Yeah, there are areas that do not have sprinkler coverage in closets and bathrooms and that kind of thing. So those still need to be corrected.
Will that actually require renovations or work to
It requires,
the
it requires permitting.
piping and?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So all fire protection systems are in. What is this one that references chapter 13?
So if you go to the boat sprinkler system, let's see, they need.
Backflow, is that what that
Yeah, the
one?
backflow need to be inspected, and as far as I know, I received an email from the sprinkler company saying they were going to be coming up, but they couldn't, and I didn't receive anything after that. And then the sprinklers are actually due for their annual now in 2 days. So I told them just have the full annual because there were a lot of, it was red tagged from the previous inspection. So I told them to have a full inspection done again so we could determine what the actual violations that need to be corrected on that system are. And I haven't received anything stating that it's been completed as well.
Egress that's blocked. And permitting.
The violation on the front report
Yeah.
is the same as having the sprinkler inspected. It was just one that I wanted done quickly so we could make sure that things were functioning properly. That top violation right there is the same
Oh, I
that's
see.
on the back report,
Okay,
because that's one that we wanted done in 7 days.
and that's still in violation.
Mhm.
All right. Is this occupied or is this? Okay. Have a finding of violation. Back in January. Required that early February. Set it for today. Status fine assessment. What is your recommendation at this point for this?
Well, I've looked through the permitting information and I spoke to Peter probably a couple of weeks ago and they hadn't updated anything as far as permitting. Of course, he's not here for me to be able to ask him today if that's still the case. But, I'd like to know if, because I've been emailing, I haven't gotten any responses. I don't know if they're not getting the emails, but I want to find out if they've gotten any further on permitting, the issues, that type of thing. Because if they haven't, then, I don't think there should be any more time given.
So if this is if there's occupancy and people using these buildings, the remaining violations in terms of severity of life safety issues and with people being in the buildings, is it on the high end? Is it on the low end?
Yeah, with the sprinklers coverage not being proper, they have closed out, they've closed it back up to make it several different units, but there haven't been permits for those walls. So I don't know if they're correct tenant separation walls. So I don't know if something happens, if it's going to travel in between these walls. And then they keep adding equipment without permits, even after I've gone in there. So I don't know, how this equipment was installed. There was all new electrical put in for this equipment. The equipment is also, one of the pieces of equipment they put in is now directly blocking an exit.
Did this, what you're talking about right now, this additional equipment, has that been since the violation hearing or is it?
No, it was, they put in two additional pieces of equipment just before we went to hearing the last time.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
And with this being an industrial occupancy, they're doing granite, they're doing kitchen type of things. It is a high hazard.
okay. Okay, let me hear from respondents. Ma'am, if you can tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about where we are with the case.
Marcia Sport, 1-800 Magistrate. All right, so I have something that I want to show you,
Okay,
okay? So all this,
actually, if you can show it to the city attorney first, and then we'll take a look at it. And
all
then
this evaluation about the fire and also the sprinkle, that we did everything. This is the last emails that I sent to Ms. DeRosi. And here are the pictures of
Okay, so this was, the backflow was just done the other day.
no, that was back in February. I sent you the picture, I sent you everything. Even the fire department, when they went there, they were telling me that I don't need to send anything to you because they're gonna send it straight. You know?
Yeah, and see, I haven't, this is the first time I'm seeing this.
I sent you my email. I don't have the copy of the email, but I sent the picture of everything to you. All the time we did something, I was sending it to you.
Yeah, I have this. I have that. Okay, so this is the previous sprinkler inspection report.
This was the new one, when they did it, they put the sign FCE. That you requested, they sent me this final one.
This report is from May 28th of 2021,
Okay.
which I've seen that one.
This is
We haven't seen that yet. Right, and then this is the contract for the monitoring of the fire alarm and doing the sprinklers, which I have that. I have a question with this commercial remodel. Is this the original on the furthest unit, or have we started permitting the other areas as well?
We are in process furthering the other 2 units as well.
I'm sir, can I get your name? And,
Yes, Michael Moore, I'm part of Elite Innovation Construction, and we are the ones that are involved with improving the property.
You're the contractor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So my question is this here, have there been any more submittals for the rest of the units?
It's in process to be submitted, yes.
Okay, so we still haven't submitted anything.
That is covering one building and all of the exterior, the parking, landscaping, lighting outside, everything outside in that one building. And then the other 2 buildings are separate. This one is the more intense, it's pretty much getting everything done. So we're in progress of doing those other 2 as we discussed when I met you out there.
Okay, but so this is still just the original submittal though, that was submitted when we came to hearing the first time?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
Okay.
yes. But we are, like I said, the other one is in process to get in for the other 2 buildings. So that is in progress to be submitted as well, just within the next, I would say, give it a week, 2 weeks. maximum.
okay.
2 weeks at the maximum.
Okay, but the sprinklers still haven't been inspected,
Yes.
not since May of 21.
No, we had the fire department over there, the lady, she went through everything with the machine, I was there.
Okay,
And I asked if I needed to send something to you, but they were saying to me, no, because when we're done, we're gonna send.
oh, that was for the radio communicator. for the alarm system. Is that what you're talking about? The inspection for the radio? Was it a blonde woman named Kate that was there?
Yes.
Okay, that was for the alarm communicator. That didn't have anything to do with the sprinkler system. So what happened is that the alarm company had to replace your communicator because the other one was outdated, had to pull a permit, and she came in and did the inspection on that to make sure it was functioning properly. But that didn't have anything to do with the fire sprinklers.
Well, JW, they did everything I know to assess all those issues. I mean, they sprinkler department took care of the fire sprinklers in their fire alarm department. So, I mean, they was there within the recent. And he actually was going to, I think he either called or emailed because we did everything and documented, as you're saying, to that, what you're requesting, that sprinkler.
But what I'm saying is the last sprinkler inspection report that I have been given and that was on the tag was May of 21.
Mhm.
At minimum, we're 3 behind, and because it's, and there were so many issues on the right tag was significant for that. And so that's why I asked for them to come in a little bit early to do the 100% annual, so we could see really what the issues are that need to be corrected.
Right.
So that still needs to happen.
Well, we'll pay them every month because the JW, they do the sprinkle and the fire
Right.
alarm. So always I ask, do I need to send something? Oh, no, we were gonna send it to you, you know? So now I have to be on top of them and ask them to send it to me, and then I send it to you. So,
Yes, because I
Because
haven't
it's,
received anything from them.
Your Honor, we can have Officer Del Rossi meet with the respondent after the hearing to go over the details.
And I would certainly,
I would like to
Ask
show you
that.
some pictures.
Okay, we'll
Yeah, I appreciate it.
show the city attorney the pictures.
I've looked at them, and it's just an issue of that we can't put them on the record because they're just on the phone.
But as you can see it, we did everything that Mr. Rose asked us to do.
Well,
We fixed everything. So the doors,
but you haven't fixed everything. I mean, did you fix the fire sprinkler system?
I thought we had, because, you know, they went there, they did everything, walk around. I'm how supposed to know what the work? I'm not professional in fire system.
I mean, I'll take a look at the pictures, but it just seems to me that the level of attention that this should have been given, it was not. There's so many things that are still outstanding. And whether or not you show me a picture of it allegedly in compliance doesn't mean it's in compliance today. You know, that Ms. Del Rossi and her staff has to go out there and they have to look at it. And they are the ones who are the professionals and have to say it's in compliance. And what I have heard from her is that, you know, while some things have been cured, there are many things that have not.
Well, what happened was she went there one day early. I think it was
March
March
7th,
7th.
I think, or 6th.
She went there with another people,
Coworker.
you know, coworker. And they walk outside by the 1806. We were not focused on the 1806 because nobody's inside of that building. We not stayed, we were focused on the other buildings, 1800 and 02. So she went there, walked outside and left. I didn't know. And then I sent an email asking her when she's come over. She sent to me the response that said, I was there and there's a lot of violation. You have to talk to Mr. Michael Moore. So then it's, you know, supposed to, we go together, you know, and help each other. If she tells me, you know, you have to do this, believe me, I'm gonna be in the top of the one. We're gonna do it. We did a lot, you know, we clean up everything was, we did it all what to ask him for, but like the last time, she didn't walk inside. She just walked outside.
That is incorrect.
Here's the fact of the matter is you were here in January.
Right.
And I gave you 3 months to get this stuff wrapped up, to get these violations cured. And you know, it's not even close. So, you know, what I am going to do today I'm not just gonna set this for another status hearing. I would direct that, or I would ask you to speak this morning again and figure out, what the immediate next steps are, but I'm gonna do this. Is there anything else that the city wants to tell me on this?
I can meet them out there today and
Okay.
do walk the rest of the hearing.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell me today? Ma'am, you are your comment.
I can talk to the JW, get all the paperwork and send it to her, send it to you also. Because
Send it to me.
I'm pretty sure that we were done with the JW. I was going back and forth to them, make sure they're doing what's supposed to do.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is you've got an industrial building that's being used and occupied with still quite a few fire code violations. This should be, the priority.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So go ahead, sir. I know you wanted to.
Yes, as you're saying, definitely is a priority, and they have been trying to do what they need to do to, take care of these obligations with JW, the fire company, and stand on top of them with those issues. All of the issues that Ms. Del Rossi has on there, we have, at this point, as you said, we can get with her, she can come out, and that's what we've been trying to do. We want to get with her, send an email so she can come back out, walk through, see what was done, if anything is left, and we want to take care of it. They're not trying to do anything, as I told you, I think in January, they're trying to clean up everything. I know there were a lot of issues, and we was just actually coming in just to deal with the improvements, but his violations got thrown into it. And now we're trying to help them get all this stuff modified and working with them and the people that they already had, the CW and all these other companies with the fire and mechanical things.
Well, I mean, it seems to me that many of the outstanding violations should be able to be cured in a fairly short order. The fire sprinkler system may take more time, but all that being said, I do find proper notice in this case. The respondent is present, respondent's contractor is present, based on the testimony and
one more thing, sir, regarding the doors, which I know she has that on there, all of the doors, as we explained to her back in January, last year when she met out there, all of the doors are going to be to code or fire rated. And they are part of the first building that has been approved. So all those doors will basically be the same as what has been approved already. We are anticipating to change all of the garage doors and all of the rear doors to fire rated code up to date. So I just wanted to let that be known regarding the doors.
okay.
Magistrate, I just want to also make sure that the property owner is aware and put it on the record that the permits for the commercial renovations that they've been undergoing as part of this process will expire in about 2.5 weeks.
Okay. So noted.
Okay.
I do find today that the property remains in violation, rather than read all of this. Essentially, the March 7th report, which lists the failed inspection, and the March 17th inspection report that lists all of those failed inspections. I do find the property remains in violation of each of those NFPA sections and subsections that we've reviewed at this hearing. It would take me all day to read all these numbers. So my finding is that the failed inspections are how the property remains in violation. I'm given the times that's passed already, I'm going to allow 30 additional days for compliance. After that, daily fines of $250 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. That is additional motivation to get these things done. tell you the same thing I told you in January, get with Ms. Del Rossi and get these things fixed. Now, if you don't, there's going to be daily fines that start accruing. Okay, thank you very much.
Next, we're going to go to page 14 of the agenda, item number 45, case number 21. Not on this one, he just,
Are you gonna be at the property later? Okay, when I'm done here, I'll come over, okay?
before you leave, can we do admin fees? I believe since we did the order of finding last hearing, we didn't assess that.
I did not assess the administrative costs at the violation hearing, then the city has awarded those costs today. That's what, 425.29?
Yes, sir. Okay, so we're going to go to page 14, item 45, case number 21-2487, property address of 1926 10th Avenue North. Property name is 1020 10th Avenue LLC, Fire Inspector Del Rossi, and this is a status hearing.
Good morning, whenever you're ready.
Inspector Del Rossi, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. The property is 1926 10th Avenue North. They've actually made quite a bit of progress on taking care of everything. They just have a couple of things left. I actually spoke to the property this morning for the hearing. They redid their door inspection because the company that they had previously didn't give them the best report, we'll say, so they had that redone. She told me what the findings were, which is what I expected the findings to be. The woman hasn't sent the report yet, but I know there's a door that needs to be replaced and a couple other issues that need to be looked at. And then there is a permit needed for some changes that were made to an electrical room. But they've already submitted, I believe, for that firewall issues. And I think they had to submit a revision because we found some other penetrations that need to be addressed. And then they also spoke to Peter Ringel, the building official, about a generator that was removed without a permit. And he said they need to get an electrical permit just to make sure that everything was removed properly. But other than that, everything else has been taken care of. So we're actually looking really good on this property.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, why don't you go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the case as well.
Good morning. My name is Lisette Rivera. I'm the VP of Property Management on behalf of the landlord 1920 10th Avenue
Yes, ma'am.
LLC. I'm new to the company. These violations, as she can speak to you, were because of prior employment of staff they had. They really cleaned it up. So we're diligently working to get this resolved. As far as the inspection of the doors, we walked through with her yesterday. And unfortunately, she couldn't have a report ready for us. But of the items that she has on there, we're already getting everything set so that we can get that resolved quickly. The only issue is with the door, with supply. I'm not exactly certain how long it's going to take me to get a fire door.
Oh, because of supply chain issues?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let me ask this. My previous order required compliance by yesterday, and then daily fines of $250 a day after that. Is the city's recommendation that move forward, or is there a different recommendation given the progress that's happened and what's left?
I would have a different recommendation, give them another, I'd say 60 days, because it's gonna, with that fire door that definitely has to be replaced. And that now that we know that what is needed for that generator is an electrical permit, I think 60 days is a fair amount of time for them to be able to finish up this couple of things, but they have made great amount of progress.
Any?
Be okay to stay the fines.
All right, ma'am, is there anything else you'd like to tell me? All right, well, I do find proper notice in this case based on the testimony that I've heard. There has been a significant forward progress. The report that I'm looking at dated April 19th reflects that as well, with the few outstanding items that were testified to. I have no objection to staying the imposition of the fine for 60 days, which is what, June 30th. So the previous order that imposed daily fines beginning on April 28th will be amended to push that date forward to June 30th. I don't know that this needs to go back on an agenda. If the city feels like it does, you can renotice it, but it'll either be in compliance and they'll move forward, or it won't, and there'll be daily fines. And the previous order did impose administrative costs in this case. Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Del Rossi.
Okay, we're gonna go to page 17 of the agenda, item number 47, case number 21-2756. Property address is 2000 North D Street. Property owner is Penal Haitian Baptist Church. Fire Inspector Del Rossi. And actually, this is a status hearing as well from the hearing last month.
The hearing last month.
Yes.
Was there an order in this case?
There was, is it not in the file?
That may be, I just haven't found it yet. Del Rossi, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Dr. Roberts, Long Beach County Fire Rescue Department, 2000 North East Street. This is a status hearing. It was set for 30 days so that they could take care of the violations that did not require permitting. They've actually made significant progress. They cleaned out pretty much everything from under the seating and the stairs. They've gotten the carpet off the walls that was there, but unfortunately in doing so, we revealed that now it's plywood on the walls, so we have to take that down, but get that taken care of. They've taken care of exit signs, so a lot of the things that did not require a permit have been corrected, so that progress has been made. The rest of the things that are left are permitting issues. A couple of questions on, they showed me some certifications for a couple of the curtains. I just need to find out if there are more. He actually sent me an email late yesterday, but I was not in, and I tried to get in to do a reinspection this morning. But I'm thinking it was too early in the morning when I sent the email, which I had a feeling that was going to happen. But we can set up something that we can maybe meet up there Monday or Tuesday morning next week, so that we can really do a walkthrough and get an idea of permitting issues and that kind of thing, what still is really left for that type of thing.
So the previous order, in addition to requiring correction of the non-permit requiring violations, also indicated respondent shall submit required plans and permits with product approvals and by April 28th. So from what I'm hearing, that has not happened yet.
The permit been applied for.
Well, hey, I'll come right to you, sir.
That I do not
Let me
know.
look it up.
Okay.
While the city's looking that up, go ahead, sir, put your name and address on the record and then you can.
Oh,
Proceed.
sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm anxious to get it over.
Understood.
This is Pierre Saint Jean and I represent the church.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
So as I was saying, the permit been applied for.
Okay,
In fact, we just got an email this morning from the city with the name of the persons working on it. We haven't got any permit number yet, but someone is working on it at the city. We're not sure when, and we have the GC with us as well. He's willing to testify to that if that's so needed.
all right, so you have applied for, you have submitted the plans and applied for the permits.
Technician is Ashley Muntz. He's working on the permit.
Actually, it's not in the system.
Yeah, it has not been entered in the system yet, so it must have just been.
Okay,
Yeah, we just applied for it, but it's in the works. So I mean,
That's why I didn't know.
all right, well, so assuming, it sounds like respondent has complied with what was asked last month. So does the city have a recommendation
Well, I believe
for going forward? Because no, they have complied with, sounds like they complied with the non-permit requiring
Yes.
violations, and they've applied for a permit. So there has been some forward progress since last month, but we still need now.
Is there more to the order?
Submit, here's what I'll just read it verbatim. Respondent shall submit all required plans and permits with product approvals and complete correction of remaining violations that do not require permits by April 28th. And then it said daily fines of $250 per day. Well, we just responded to this order to pay a fine of $250 per day from the date of this order until the respondents contact Palm Beach County Fire Rescue Inspector and a reinspection determines that the violations have been brought into compliance. So I'm not exactly clear on what that means. Did you do a reinspection?
No, they sent me everything that I needed to show that all the non-permitted issues were corrected.
As of what date?
The date on the report there?
This inspection date is April 26th. It says initial inspection date, March 22, and then.
Yeah, they had finished it before the date. Yeah,
Well, just because that, since she imposed fines starting the day of the order until you got that compliance. So April 26th would be the date for that compliance.
Which predates the order, which is dated March 31st.
No, April 26th.
I don't remember the order.
Yeah, this says inspection date, April 26, and then in parentheses, initial inspection date, March 22. And then the hearing was March 31.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I'm just not clear on what that, I mean, unfortunately, it's not my order. I'm not clear on what the intent was with that daily fine. It sounds to me like the respondent did what was asked of them at the last hearing.
That's what it sounds like.
They did.
And then administrative costs were the administrative, did you pay those administrative
I
costs?
got to check with me,
Okay, so it says paid by April 28th, which is today, so
which I got to check with you.
you'll take care of that today. So, again, I would ask for a recommendation on steps forward. At this point, we still have the violations that require permits. Permits been applied for, I guess. What is there a time frame?
I have a question on that. What exactly has been applied for? Was it construction permits? Was fire alarm? What has been applied for?
Construction permit.
Okay, so we still don't have anything with the fire alarm?
Fire alarm say, well, no, not, fire alarm has not applied for a permit yet. They're still doing the drawing,
Okay.
which the GC for that promised that would be done by next week. But again, it's more complex than I thought. It's talking about fire. Trickle things involved, so I guess.
So strictly speaking, that would be that would not be in conformance with what this order required. That order required all of those permits to be submitted by today. I'm not inclined to change this order, but I'm happy to enter an order that deals with the going forward part of this. So, if this order assesses $250 a day fines until those fire alarm permits are applied for, so be it. But what I want to do today is then enter a subsequent order that provides additional time now for the work that requires a permit to get done. And because presumably the fines that are contemplated by the order from last month would stop running once those permits are submitted. So if the permits are submitted tomorrow or next week, that's when that set of fines would stop running. But that doesn't address the issue of getting everything wrapped up.
Isn't it once the permits are applied for, then they're under the permit process, so they have their timeframe under that? It's really just a matter of obtaining permits?
Well, for us, it's a little bit different because it's life safety issues. We give a time frame for them to be able to finish the work.
Just
So I would say realistically, another 90 days to
Okay.
get those approvals done and hopefully get the work done.
Yeah, I mean, me, I don't want to set this up for failure.
Right.
I want to give enough time, assuming good faith forward progress occurs to get it done, but I don't want to put an impossible deadline. So I trust your judgment on 90 days. I'll come back to you, sir. Go ahead.
Right, so to install the fire alarm, I don't think 90 days would be sufficient. Because even with the permit, it takes time, from what I understand from the GCs. To have to put things in process. To apply for the permit, which we already did for the mechanical, by next week, we should be able to apply for the permit for the fire alarm. That's, 30 days should be sufficient for that to put the permit in.
Yes.
But if it is a question of to get everything done, that's not required permits, 90 days is good. That is what the intent is. But for the system to be put in place, I don't know if 90 days would be sufficient.
Is the building being used?
Yes.
Okay. So there are,
I mean, it's a very large facility with an occupant load of over 1,000. We don't have a fire alarm, and that is our concern right now.
Is it over 1,000?
Yeah.
Oh, no, but we don't have 1,000 people.
I have to go by what the actual occupant load is. I get your point, but we have to go by what is by code the occupant load.
Right, I got you. So may I suggest that the 90 days for us to do everything that's required, and that's not required permits, and then maybe some of the mechanical stuff, but the fire alarm system, now you can give me a status check for me to show that the permit has been put on and then what's the progress.
Really, the things that didn't require a permit have been corrected.
That's what I'm saying.
So that isn't really an issue at this
Okay.
point, except for we might find a couple little things that might need some buttoning up or something like that.
Yeah.
So really, the issue is what is still pending is everything that requires the permits.
Mhm.
and sir, I understand what you're saying. I'm reluctant to extend the time frame given the fact that this building is used and occupied, and that there are fire alarm issues. The best thing, so I'm inclined to take the city's recommendation and reduce that to an order. I would suggest to you that you move in with all deliberation, and if you're getting close to that 90 days and you're very confident you're not going to meet that deadline, reach out to the city, ask to come back here, and ask me for more time at that point. And if I see that has been good faith effort and it just wasn't possible, I'm inclined to consider that.
Okay.
So Magistrate, if I can just make sure I understand. So right now there's an order that until the permits are applied for, there's $250 a day fine running.
That's how I read this order.
And
Yes,
then we're going to impose another order today that gives them 90 days to complete the work. And
correct.
if that is not completed, then
$250 a day again will start, assuming there's not an extension granted. But yeah, it's kind of complicated, but that's how I read this order. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me, sir?
No, I will abide by the rule of the magistrate.
Thank you.
If that is the case.
Anything else, Ms. Del Rossi?
Now, I can say when it comes to the planning process, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Peter Ringel, the building official, is really good about keeping track of how long he has it in. And if it's an exorbitant amount of time, he will let us know that, hey, it was in this long, and we'll get, those days also kind of credited back as well. So if the plan review process takes longer than it normally would, but everyone's pretty good about getting stuff done pretty quickly right now. But if it takes longer than usual, then Peter will also let me know about that as well.
All right. So in this case, I do find proper notice. Respondent is present. Based on the testimony and the evidence that I have reviewed, I will find, I guess first I will find that the respondent complied with the previous order to the extent that they completed correction of violations that do not require permits. However, they did not comply with the previous order that required submitting plans and permits with product approvals. That has not happened for the fire code violations. So that order and assessing daily fines of $250 per day, that will, beginning today, that will start to run until those permits for the fire code violations are applied for. My order today then finds that the property remains in violation pursuant to the April 26, 2022 inspection report for the violations that still require permits. I'm going to allow 90 additional days for those remaining violations to be complied. And that's going to be July something.
July 28th.
July 28th. And after that, then there will be additional daily fines of $250 per day until compliance is achieved. The previous order already awarded the city's administrative costs, so I don't need to do that again. And again, sir, I would stress on the timing. If button up against that 90 days and you're not going to make it, don't not do anything. Speak to Mr. Rossi. Has to get back on an agenda and ask for their time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
See you later.
Now we're going to go to page 9 of the agenda, item number 29, case number 22-13. Property address is 1516 15th Avenue South. Property owner is Richard A. Spence, Officer Pierre.
Morning. Morning, sir.
Morning.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, so Officer Blake Pierre with the City of Lake Worth Beach Police Department. Case number is 2213. Property owner is Spence Richard A. Property address is 1516 15th Avenue South. The existing violations, contrary to what's on your sheet, is going to be 2-7562, repair, replace broken carport, repair, replace any broken wood on structure, move forward with permit 212254, which is a carport. The violations that are complied are going to be 23-221, move forward with approved permit 212710, which is a water main. 1218, remove all garbage, trash, and debris from entire property. 1217, remove garbage cans and recycling containers from public view. 23-411, location of the recreational vehicle must be stored behind the front property line. Vehicles located behind the front building lines are effectively screened from abutting properties. 23-410, parking prohibited. Parking is prohibited on the lawns and landscaping areas in the zones districts. And 23-419, which is the storage may not be permitted under the front yard, which are also complied. So today we're just looking at the repairing of that carport. It's very badly done. You can see the pictures there.
That does require a permit.
It does, and the permit is already applied. He just has to move forward with it.
Okay. And city's recommendation in this case.
Oh, yes. So the formal notice of the violation in the hearing was issued on the 9th of March. The certified mail was received on the 23rd of March. The certified mail was received, was posted on City Hall and on the property on the 11th. And the last inspection was on the 26th of April. And the recommendation time to get the violations rectified is May 30th, 2022. Otherwise, a fine of $50 per day, plus the administrative cost of $425.29 will be applied, and it has to be paid by May 30th.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir. I want you to put your name and address on the record, and then you can tell me about the case.
Good morning. My name is Richard Spence, 1516 15th Avenue South, Lake Worth, Florida. I've certainly paid attention to the code enforcement.
Sure looks like it. Yeah.
The matter, my understanding now, the matter of the carport is the only thing outstanding.
That's what I've heard.
Okay. Diligently trying to work on that, sir, awaiting the permitting and communication with the surrender office. There have been some additional requirements that's great. Soil report, plus report, these things, I have an inspection, I have a date of May 31st for the soil report. Still working to get the trust information submitted.
Okay. So your permit's been issued, it's just now you have to get the actual work done and you're waiting for the soil testing report and
That is my understanding.
Okay.
I'm an owner builder into the process, so I'm just trying to maneuver through it. This would have been done.
Okay. Well, it doesn't sound to me, based from what you've told me, that you'll be done by May 30th.
As far as, and I have communication from Mr. Ringel that says that once the soil test has been completed, then we can sort of move forward with the renovation whilst awaiting the trust information.
Okay.
So we can at least start the process, which is,
But you don't even think you're getting the soil information until the end of May?
well, I know that's what I have now scheduled.
Right, okay. You think once that's done, another month will be enough time after the soil is done, soil report is done, to get the remaining work completed?
My understanding is that based on what Mr. Ringel has said, once that is done, I can get the approval for a permit.
Okay.
Which means that I can start my process at that point. So once I submit the soil report, then I think it's in Mr. Ringel's court as far as getting the permit.
I'm inclined to give you like 90 days to get this done. It sounds like you need a little bit of advanced time, and based on the fact that you've done everything else, I see a good faith effort here, and I'm happy to work with you on that, to give you enough time to finish this project.
Now, finish meaning I can't build. It's a garage with, we're not talking about completing that, right?
We're just talking about getting the carport into compliance with the code. That's all I'm concerned about. If you're planning on doing other work, that's different than.
What I'm planning on doing, sir, is we're gonna demolish the carport.
Okay.
Right. And
Well,
storage structure, which is what I'm waiting on the permit.
well, let me ask the city this: if the carport was demoed, would that get that out of code enforcement?
I'm sorry.
If the carport was demolished and removed, would that get that out of code?
Yes, it'll resolve the violation.
So you don't need the soil report to get the demolition permit, do you?
Sir.
I don't think you would need to demolish it and remove it. I would think that gets you out of code enforcement. Then all the other stuff with constructing a new facility, that's a separate project. That's not. No, code enforcement is concerned with the condition of the carport is below minimum property standards. So if you're going to remove that, once that's removed, seems to me you're now in compliance with the code enforcement case, and then everything else, that's a little bit of a different situation. I would think that the 30 days would be enough time to get a demolition permit and remove the carport. Then you're out of code enforcement.
I thought it was all encompassing the demolition, construction.
No. Once you get the demo, you're on Robinson City, Lake Worth Beach. Once you get the demo permit and the carport is demo, we resolve the violation. It's not complied because you didn't do what we asked you to do, but we can resolve it. We can work around it. We'll resolve it. And then that'll comply that case if all the other violations are in compliance. But you need to start the process of applying for a permit to redo the garage, if that's what you want to do, whatever you choose
Well,
to do with
that's
the
already
space.
in the process.
Okay,
And as I said, my understanding was that the demolition was a part of that whole process.
Well, generally speaking, it could be, but for your purposes, that's what's got you in code enforcement. If the carport was not in violation of the city's minimum property standards, then you could look at this globally as one process, but by doing it that way, you're prolonging the code enforcement case.
Which I've actually not done anything just because I'm waiting on the
you have an approved permit or you just submitted the application?
I think it's
It's
on
approved?
hold.
It's in plan review, and he's stating that it's can't move forward until he has the soil test report, which won't be till May 31st.
Okay,
I wouldn't think you'd need a soil report to do a demo because you're not building new structure on top of the soil. You're removing the stuff that's there.
I mean, if I'm able to do that, because as I said, I've been waiting to do anything because I don't want to be in violation.
let's clarify. Your permit is that you want to demo what's there and put a new carport. So that's probably the need for the soil. But
Right.
if you demoed it and didn't do anything, then that'd be a different story. So you need to complete, but he would definitely need to complete the process if that's what Peter is. You spoke with Peter Ringo? Okay,
I've been communicating.
Yeah.
The architect.
Well, my inclination would be to either give 90 days
right.
to do the project or give 30 days to just do the demo. But if the demo can't be separated out, then I'd be inclined to.
The 90 days is fine.
So I'm going to give you 90 days to get this taken care of. July 28th would be the compliance deadline. So, okay, so let me do this then. City has proper notice in this case with the certified mail and the posting. Respondent is also present at today's hearing. Based on the testimony and the evidence, find the property remains in violation of City Code Section 2-75.6.2, but has complied with all other code sections that were cited in the notice. I'm going to allow until July 28th of 2022 to cure the remaining outstanding violation. After that, though, there will be daily fines of $50 per day until compliance is achieved. City has awarded its administrative costs of $425.29. I'll make those payable no later than July 28th as well. And since you're doing this owner builder, sir, if anything comes up, I really would urge you to stay in touch both with the building department and the code enforcement department and make sure that they're aware of what's going on and they can give you information that you may need just to make sure that you're going along and don't go sideways on any of it. It's a lot.
Next, we're going to go to page 7 of the agenda, item number 24, case number 22-181, property address of 431 North K Street. Property owner is Inxis Florida LLC, Officer Dorcius.
Whenever you're ready.
Officer Dorcius with City of Lake Worth Beach Code Division, case number 22-181, owner NCAS Florida LLC. Owner's address 5786 Northwest 48th Court, Pompano, Florida 33067. Property location 431 North K Street. This was through observation. The case was initiated February 2nd of 2022. The existing violations is 2-75.11 foreclosed registration. The violation has been complied or resolved is 12-18 areas free of garbage and trash, 2-75.9 landscaping, 21-33 improper and prohibited parking, and 23.2-21 for a building permit. Formal notice of violation was issued via certified mail on February 17, 2022. Certified mail was not received. property was posted on February 28th of 2022, as well as City Hall. The last reinspection was April 21st of 2022. Photographs of the property has been taken. The city had personal contact with the owner. The recommendation time for voluntary compliance was for July 29th of 2022. That recommendation date was prior to the building permit being approved as of yesterday. The city recommends a fine of $75 per day plus the admin cost of $425.29 to be paid by February 29th of 2022. I know that I did that recommendation date prior to him getting that building permit approved.
February's passed.
That's a February?
Yes.
Correction, July 29th, 2022.
So what's involved with getting the registration taken care of?
Well, the property owner sent me emails saying that Pro Champs told him that he did not have to register the property vacant because he had a building permit that was not approved at the time. So yesterday, he sent me an email letting me know that the building permit was approved as of April 26th of 2022, but the vacant lot is still currently vacant. So I'll inform the owner that he still has to register the property vacant on Pro Champ for voluntary compliance. Even though his permit has been approved, it's still a vacant lot.
Okay, so
Online registration.
it's just filling out a form online. Is there a fee that goes with that?
Yes.
Okay,
Call the number. You don't.
so I mean, that could be done. Certainly don't need till the end of July.
He didn't, so that recommendation date was for that permit prior to me finding out that permit was approved.
Okay. All right, yes, sir. Why don't you go ahead and tell me your name and address, and you can tell me about the case.
Okay, my name is Manuel, I'm the owner. Yes, she's completely right. I'm the builder, been building here in Lakewood. I love Lakewood, so I wish to keep on building, you know, so, but this is the thing. First time when you come in, I try to be the most proactive, you know, trying to, to solve all this. The first time I called Pro Champs, they said that they check on the system, you know, and they said, oh, this is not an outstanding requirement, especially for your lot, but definitely it's a back and lot. So I asked the lady, I said, because I am applying for a permit and it's almost, you know, almost approved, the permit to be built. I just wondering if there is any exception. And she said, yes, definitely it's an exception, but it's completely up to the city decide because you're going to be built and it's almost approved. So, okay, so I write her and at the end, it was the permit at the time, it was not completely approved because it was missing the impact fees and just the latest process because basically, so I got approved, I paid, and I sent her the permit approved. And okay, so basically, I called back again yesterday and they said, yeah, definitely, it's back end. This different lady said that definitely I have to pay.
All right, so you have a building permit as we speak today.
Yeah.
To start construction of a structure on the vacant lot.
Yeah.
Let me ask City this question. If there's an active building permit and ground is broken and there's construction activity, does the registration still have to happen? So you have to have a complete building CO'd and out of the permit process?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so according to code enforcement, even though you got the permit.
Yes, okay. So I just follow this. They still need to get a permit. So yesterday I called Pro Champs, yes. And I tried to register yesterday to avoid this meeting, but I was still, because I bought this lot on February last year, still the registration is still on the name of the last owner. So I couldn't make it. So she wrote me an email. But I will do it.
Well, I'm going to give you 30 days. I mean, that should be way more than enough time to take care of it, but and get the address situation.
This is the system, it's in the old owner, so I couldn't register yesterday. Otherwise, I would do it. No.
Okay, I appreciate that. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
Pretty much it.
Okay, so the city has proper, yeah.
If we can just continue this for 30 days and it will be resolved, and that's fine too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I have no objection to that. So what the city is suggesting, sir, is in lieu of me entering an order today, we'll continue this hearing for 30 days. Go ahead and register that should cure all the violations, and then that may resolve the matter that way. So I have no objection to doing that. We will sort of do anything that you'd like to add about that course of action.
No.
Okay, then I will, I already found proper notice. I will continue this matter to the May 30th agenda.
May 26th.
May 26th, to the May 26th agenda. That will be with the different magistrate. I know I will. I will, not only will I not be here, I won't be in the United States, so it's definitely. At any rate, sir, you'll be back if need be on May 26th. Is that what you said?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay,
Okay, next we're going to go to page 8, item number 26, case number 21-1846. Property address is 524 Wright Drive. Property owner is Deborah De Silva and Peter Mergenthaler, Officer Hicks.
Good morning, Bobby Hicks, City of Lake Worth, code compliance, case number 21-1846. Property address is 524 Wright Drive. This violation on 7/19 of 2021 for the following violations. 23.2-21, permits required for installation of shed and repairing of pool. The shed permit 21-4074 and the pool permit 21-4075 are still in plan review, and notes are attached in the file. The following permits need to be finalized and closed. 18-975 for electric, that has been closed. 19-2073 for the fence, that permit has been closed. 20-3467 roof permit is still showing active in the system. City ordinance 12-17, remove all garbage cans and recycled containers from public view. That violation has complied. Section 2-75.6.6, fire safety requirements. Lift up all storm shutters for means of egress. That has complied. We issued a courtesy notice on 7/19 of 2021. A reinspection was done on 12/13 of 2021 and found to be in non-compliance. We issued a formal notice of violation and hearing by certified mail on 1/13 of 2022. Certified mail was received on 1/21 of 2022. I posted a property in City Hall on 1/18 of 2022. Property was re-inspected on 4/27 of 2022 and found to be in non-compliance. Photographs have been taken to show the violations. We did have personal contact with the property owner. The city's recommendation time to have active permits is May 30th of 2022, or fines of $50 per day, plus the administrative cost of $425.29 to be paid by May 30th, 2022.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the case.
Sure, Peter Mergenthaler, 524 Wright Drive, Lakewood, Florida. The property is regarding a pool repair that we hired. Gave them a large deposit. They started work without a permit. The property was cited. We've been proactively trying to resolve the issue. There's been some issues getting clarity about the sun deck. It was a remodel rather than just a refinish. The guy that started the work, who began without a permit, did not have sufficient documentation for the construction of the pool. We submitted permit and it was rejected for comments for additional detail for construction. We elected to end up getting an engineer involved. I have letters from the engineer. We removed the sun deck. We're just going to refinish the pool as it was, and then the engineer is going to help us finish out the finish for the shed as well.
All right.
So I have.
Yeah, if you want to show that to Mr.
That should be, half the issues was getting clarity between what the city wanted us to do to the contractor and then having that defined. So the only thing we could do was to remove the entire sun deck completely, because we could not satisfy the city as to the construction method being in compliance with their specifications.
The notes for the sun deck are in.
Yeah. You feel like the another month will be enough time to get the permitting issues resolved?
Should be.
Okay,
We have one permit closed out for the roof.
close out the roof permit and
I
then,
thought the roof permit had closed out with Pete Ringle a while. We put in a roof permit, but we couldn't get it done, so we ended up just we put a coating on for the temporary. But we hadn't planned,
We just need a final inspection.
we never did it. We never did the roof.
So you'll have to set up something for the building department to come out to inspect that it wasn't done. And then they will have to close the permit out or void it.
Either that or do it.
or
Because it's approved in the system, but
Okay.
it's old.
But the only thing regarding my issues today and what brought me here is regarding the pool. Right?
Well, the pool and the permit for the roof, that's still in violation. Because it's a
Okay.
20.
because they show it's still active, so that needs to be closed.
See, and I thought I had dealt with that with Pete Ringle directly some months ago. We went through all those open close permits for the fence and the shed and this and that, whatever. And I was pretty sure that was one of the things that we had taken care of because I'd let him know that we weren't going to do it at this time.
Were you guys removing the sun deck yesterday? I seen a trailer for the pool. There was a trailer in front of your house.
Yeah,
Was it yesterday?
yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing we could do. We couldn't satisfy you guys. The construct, when the guy built the sun deck and the retaining wall and everything, we didn't take enough pictures as to how he constructed the internals and how he fastened it. So we just had to go completely backwards. That's why you have the current pictures and everything in there certified at the engineer out there yesterday.
Are there any objections to these letters being included in the file? Are these copies we can keep, sir? All right, well, these are two April 27th letters. And that will be made part of the record for this case. So if you're comfortable that the 30 days should be enough time to close out the roof permit
I
and
don't know what else we need. I mean, the roof permit should be easy to close out. I don't know what else we need to do to move forward on the pool, to be perfectly honest with you. I know we removed the sun deck issue, but I'm not, I want to make sure that I'm certain what we need to do so I can convey it to the engineer and the architect. Other than the sun deck.
We just need the permits to go in active status, sitting in plan review. Because
They
then you
were
have,
kicked on comments.
right, which the comments are in there, which he can read. Because then you have the 180 days.
Oh, yeah, that's no problem at all. I mean, I'd like to get the work done. I've had my way. I get the work done in the next 30 days.
yeah, I mean, the comments that I'm looking at, there was a December 3rd, 2021 comment, need to verify flow rate of new piping will not exceed ANSI 7 requirements.
Okay, so that, I don't believe that's in the engineer's letter, so then I have to get the engineer to address the ANSI, the flow rate.
There's a show all return lines since pool is being reconfigured with sun shelf. That may go away.
Now we're taking out the
The
sun
sun
shelf,
shelf.
so that's what I'm saying. I don't know how, what we're removing from it modifies my necessity moving forward.
You know what, let me finish here. So provide plumbing isometric. Fill out lot coverage information for property.
That I didn't understand because we didn't change all we did was.
That's for the shed, I think. That's for the shed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, these are for the shed, so that's taken care of at this point, right?
That needs to be approved as well.
There's someone that I can work with or have the engineer call directly with regard to this. Just have Fabio call directly to somebody. That way I'm sure that I get clear with you guys.
Well, permitting would be through the Peter.
For the building department, that's who's dealing with the
It was
building.
way backlogged. I know somebody else who was reviewing it. There was somebody else who was Margaret, you know, the M or something.
Number to build and let them know what you
Yeah,
need.
because there was somebody else, he's the head of the head guy, but there was somebody else who was actually doing the permit review and commentary.
His name's the name that's on all that.
This has been dragging on for way too long for a pool remodel.
Well, so let me, just out of an abundance of caution, I'm gonna give you 60 days to work all this out.
Okay.
But otherwise, I will accept the city's recommendation. So Is there anything else you want to tell me, sir? Okay, so we have proper notice, respondent is present. Based on the testimony and evidence, I will find the property remains in violation of City Code 23.2-21 regarding the pool permit and closing out the roof permit. I will find the property has and shed permit. Thank you. I will find the property has complied with all other code sections that were cited in the notice. We'll allow you 60 days, which is June 30th, to resolve the remaining permitting issues. After that, there will be daily fines of $50 per day until compliance is achieved. So if for some reason it's
Never gonna happen.
Yeah.
We got too many people involved now.
and then
Engineer better get it done.
the city is awarded its administrative costs of $425.29, which will also be payable by June 30th. Sign that order. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. No, you'll get a copy of it after it's all taken care of. That'll memorialize what we said.
Appreciate you. Have a nice day.
You too.
Okay, that's all of our respondents. Would you like to take a break?
If anybody needs a break, I'm happy.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have one more.
They want me to call them, the owners in Canada. He couldn't be here today, and he said, if you agree.
If we can make it work, that's okay by me.
Does he need something?
I know he must need something. Said something about getting me for something.
Okay, we're gonna go to page 3 of the agenda, item number 8, case number 21-1843. This is the status fine assessment for 1029 North Palm Way, property owner is Brian Scher. Assistant Director Robinson.
Call from you? Hold on, this is Yolanda. Yolanda Robinson City. Hi. Hi. Yolanda Robinson City of Lake Worth Beach, code compliance. This is the status for 1029 North Palm Way. And the owner is on the phone and she would like to speak on their behalf.
All right, I'm not sure.
It was for a garage door. They were supposed to get, they purchased the property with violations, unknowingly with violations. And it's in the historic district and they were supposed to change it, convert the property back to its original state. And they needed a permit for a garage door. They applied for the permit just yesterday or today. Today is, well, it went in the system today. The design has been approved, but the permit is still not approved. It's in plan review. And I had a text from William Waters stating that the design was approved, but the permit is not approved. So the owner still does not have the required permit for the conversion.
I'm not sure how I can swear in the respondent without seeing her.
Yeah, she'd have to.
Any brilliant ideas?
Well, what are you asking for? Are you just asking to give them more time? Because then she doesn't need to be sworn in to testify.
This would be, well, yeah.
She just wanted to testify on their behalf, like, where they are in the process. So, but if we can't swear her in over the phone, then.
Well, if I could see her, I could swear her in.
Right.
I can't. And actually, if she's in Canada, I'm not even sure if that's the case. I don't know.
I can call on my iPhone and say, do you have an iPhone?
Well, let me ask you this, Ms. Robinson, what's the city's recommendation on moving this?
Well, we just want a time certain for them to finalize the process. I think 30 days to finalize the process for the permit for the garage door. 30 days to finalize that. And once they get the permit approved and picked up, they have 180 days to complete.
Is everything else complied?
Yes, everything is set, the garage door.
Okay.
Well, in that. Use occupancy, is that related to the garage door being finished?
Do they still need to use an occupancy inspection? Yes. So they do need to use an occupancy inspection. I'm
frozen.
Ms. Robinson, have you been in touch with the respondent?
Yes, they've met in the office as well. We've had meetings with them. The problem was it's in a historic district, so it's very difficult for them to find someone to do the work. And now that they have someone, we're just working on getting everything completed.
Do you happen to have any knowledge as to whether they are in agreement with the additional 30 days?
Sure that's it. Yeah, the only thing is, there's a landscape business license and permit, that's it. Well, the landscape will be addressed with the use and occupancy.
So the storage and accumulation is.
Do you have any objection to the 30 days? Ms. Sher?
Oh, do I have, I'm sorry, I didn't hear any of the conversation. So an objection to the 30 days to comply?
Yes.
No, we don't have any objections at all.
Okay. The special magistrate cannot allow you to speak because you cannot be sworn in. You will have to be sworn in order to speak, okay? All right, so I'll call you later.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, bye.
Okay, thank you, Yolanda, bye.
Bye-bye. So, let's recommend 60 days because it's in the historic district. Let's do 60 days.
So ordered.
Thank you.
And that's just for another status, or do you want, or then fine?
60 days, the previous order did not impose a deadline or daily fines. It just said status hearing and assess the administrative cost. Do you have a recommendation on the daily fines?
$75 per day. And admin costs of $425.29.
Yeah, that's in the order already.
That's in order already.
I will do 60 days or $75 a day after that.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. There's that file. Okay, is that all the cases where we have respondents who all want to be present? So it's 10:47. Let's try and be back on the record a little bit before 11 o'clock. The rest of the agenda, we'll take a short recess. All right.
Okay, mics are live. So we're gonna go to page 1, item number 1, case number 16-478. This is a public request for a lien reduction at 909 South East Street. Case name is Virda Bastine, Officer Pierre.
All right, Blake Pierre, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of Lake Worth Beach. Case number 16478. The person executing the stipulated agreement has agreed to enter into the agreement and bind the respective parties to the terms contained herein. There is a code enforcement lien on property located at 909 South East Street, Lake Worth Beach, Florida, 33460, for violations that are now in compliance. The property is otherwise free of all outstanding debts due to the city, and all administrative costs assessed in the underlying code compliance case for the lien have been paid. Owner does not have any other properties in the city and have active code compliance cases. Owner has otherwise met all the requirements of section 2-69.3 and 2-63.1 of the city's code enforcement ordinance relating to the reduction of code enforcement liens. The lien existing of the property total of $97,800, and owner agrees to pay $19,560 to settle the lien release. The city will recommend to the special magistrate the order be entered reducing the lien to $19,560, and the owner agrees to make payment by May 26th of 2022. If the city does not receive the payment as set forth above, the stipulated agreement shall be null and void with no further action to be taken by the city, and the existing lien amount of $97,800 shall be reinstated.
All right, I have reviewed the stipulated agreement for lien reduction. It is in proper form and it is approved. Sir.
Okay, next we're gonna go to page 10 of the agenda, item number 32, case number 21-2698, property address of 906 South Ridge Street. Property owner is Kerr Barrington O, Officer Turek. Page 10.
Page 10, not
Yeah,
item
page 10, item 32.
item 10. Got it.
Sue Turek for the City of Lake Worth Beach, case number 21-2698. Kerr Barrington is the owner, 906 South Ridge Street. The photos are attached, sir. And so are the violations on a violation sheet there. Both of them. I apologize. From my violation sheet.
That's what you were looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Read these and then I'll give it right back to you. The violations are 1539 to remove any I can't speak. Remove any inoperable unlicensed vehicles from property. Please register vehicles or remove them. 23.2-21 is to apply for a permit for the new fence installed by contacting the building department. Permits will need to be in the AP status for compliance. 2-7562 clean paint front door. I issued a courtesy notice on 12/3/21. I re-inspected the property several times. The last one was 2/8/22. I issued the formal notice on 2/15/22. The mail was returned, as you can see, but the property was posted. There's been no extension. I observed there's no permit again on 4/20/22, and again, the most recent, the one I just gave you, no fence permit on file. Photographs have been taken. I have had contact with the property owner. The recommendation is June 1st, 2022. or a fine of $50 per day. And for the administrative cost of $425.29 to be paid by June 1st, 2022.
The agenda includes 23.6-1 regarding landscaping. Is that still an active violation?
That had complied as it grew back in.
Okay. The other three are still outstanding.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You'll find proper notice with the posting following the return certified mail. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation. City Code sections 15-39, 23.2-21, 2-75.6.2. I'll allow until June 1st for those violations to be complied. After that, daily fines of $50 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. City is awarded administrative costs of $425.29 payable no later than June 1st.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next is item 33, case number 21-2752, property address of 1238 South C Street. Property owner is Blas Fuentes, Officer Turek, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
So I'm Turek for the city of Lakewood Beach. Prentice Blas as the owner's name. The persons signing this stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into this stipulation and bind the respective parties to the terms contained herein. 1238 South C Street in Lakewood Beach, Florida. The owner is granted until June 28th, 22 to be in compliance. And he agrees that he will not be entitled to an extension of time after that, will not request the same. If the owner does not correct the violation and bring the property into compliance with the code sections attached, a fine of $75 per day will be assessed. All permits shall be in the approved status. This case will be waived. The process rights relative to this case are hereby waived. The owner agrees to the stipulated agreement, the claim of lien recorded, and this case violations are 1432, Lakewood business license, 1435 to schedule and pass the use and occupancy inspection, 2-75.62 to add the house numbers to the structure in a 4-inch number and contrasting color. 2-75.66 to remove all shutters from the windows, and 6-5 allowable pets. That one has been complied. I believe it's still on your list. That was to remove chickens.
Okay, I have the stipulated agreement and I've reviewed it. It appears to be in proper form and it is approved.
Okay, we're going to go to page 1 of the agenda, item number 4. Case number 20-1792. This is a public request for a lien reduction at 1311 North Dixie Highway. Property owner is Thon Hong, Officer Hicks, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
Thank you.
Bobby Hicks for the city of Lakeport Beach. The persons executing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the agreement to bind the respective parties to the terms contained herein. There is a code enforcement lien on the property located at 1311 North Dixie Highway, Lakewood Beach, Florida, 33460, with all violations that are now in compliance. The property is otherwise free of all outstanding debts and dues to the city and all administrative costs assessed in the underlying code compliance cases where the liens have been paid. Owner does not have any other properties in the city that have any code compliance cases. Owner has otherwise met all the requirements of sections 2-69.3 and 2-69.3.1 of the city code of ordinances. The lien existing on the property totals $21,450, and the owner agrees to pay $2,145 to settle the release of the lien. The city will recommend to the special magistrate that the order be entered, reducing the lien to $2,145, and the owner agrees to make payment by May 30th of 2022. If the city does not receive payment set forth and above, the stipulated agreement shall be null and void. And no further action shall be taken by the city, and the existing lien amount of $21,400 shall be reinstated.
We have the stipulated agreement for lien reduction in the file. I've reviewed it. It appears to be in proper form and it is.
Okay, next, we're gonna go to page 2 of the agenda, item number 5, case number 21-1283. This is a public request for a lien reduction at 1249 18th Avenue North. Property owner is 20205 WY-22 LLCE. Officer Hicks, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
City of Leavenworth Beach. Persons executing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulated agreement and bind the respective parties to the terms contained herein. There's a code enforcement lien on the property located at 1249 18th Avenue North, Lake Worth Beach, Florida. The property is otherwise free of all outstanding debts and dues to the city, and all administrative costs assessed in the underlying code compliance cases for the lien have been paid. Owner does not have any other properties in the city that have active code compliance cases. Owner has otherwise met all the requirements of sections 2-69.3 and 2-69.3.1 of the city code of ordinances. The lien existing on the property is $17,250. The city will recommend to the special magistrate that the order be entered in reducing the lien to $0. If the special magistrate does not agree with the amount stipulated in the agreement, the case will be reset for a new hearing date. In such event, the city shall give owner no less than 5 days notice of the new hearing date.
The stipulated agreement for lien reduction is in the file. It is in proper form. I've reviewed it. It is.
Next, we're going to go to page 3 of the agenda, item number 10, case number 22-96, property address of 1625 North M Street. Property owner is Cell Time LLC. Officer Dale. (1625) North M Street. It's closed.
Closed.
Okay. We'll go to page 4, item number 11, case number 22-136, property address of 1701 North M Street. Property owner is Levy Land Trust LLC. Officer Dale.
It's a great street number for all you Star Trek fans out there.
Officer Dale with the city of Lake Worth Beach, case number 22-0136. Owner's name is Levy Land and Trust LLC. Property location is 1701 North M Street. Case was initiated on February 2nd, 2022. Property found to be in violation with city code section 2-75.6.2. Dirt buildup on the structure, dirt buildup on the sidewalk and walkways to include property perimeter, rust on the structure to include property perimeter, sullied and damaged garage door, damaged soffit, missing outdoor light cover, missing electrical outlet cover, displaced cement blocks around the property perimeter, chipping paint on the structure, damaged or cracked sidewalk, which is a tripping hazard, discolored awning, and cracked stucco. Violation code 14-32. The owner needs to apply for City of Lake Worth business license. Violation 14-35. The owner needs to call and schedule use and ICP inspection. Violations 14-32 and 14-35 are resolved. This is the owner registering the property vacant on pro chance. Issued formal notice of violation hearing on February 14, 2022 by certified mail.
Certified mail received on February 18, 2022. Posted the property and City Hall on February 16, 2022. Property re-inspected on April 27, 2022, and still found not to be in compliance. Photographs have been taken showing the violation. The city did have contact with the property owner. Recommendation time is June 28, 2022. Pay fine of $150 per day, including the administrative cost of $425.29.
Certified mail on the posting, the city has proper notice, seeing no respondents not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I do find the property remains in violation of city code, section 2-75.6.2, but the other code sections cited in the notice are resolved. I will allow until June 28th, 2022 to cure the outstanding violations. After that, daily fines of $150 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is awarded administrative costs of $425.29, also payable no later than June 28th.
Next is item 12, case number 22-201, property address of 311 Columbia Drive. Property owner is SFR 2012-1 Florida LLC. Officer Dale.
Krista, that one I closed as well.
All right, so then we're going to go to page 5 of the agenda. Item number 14, case number 22-391, property address of 312 12th Avenue North. Property owner is 7136 Miami LLC. Officer Dale.
Thank you.
Officer Dale with the City of Lake Worth Beach, case number 22-0391. Owner is 7136 Miami LLC. Property location is 312 12th Avenue North. Case was initiated March 3rd, 2022. The property was found to be non-compliant in city code violations 2-75.6.2. Dirt buildup on the wood siding, fascia, driveway, sidewalk, or property perimeter. Rust on the front door, bugs on structure, a possible broken window. Code violation 12-17, remove trash bins from public view. 12-18, remove our garbage, trash, and debris from the perimeter, and remove the shopping cart off the property. 14-32, apply for City of Lake Forest Beach business license. 14-35. Schedule use and occupancy inspection. 2-75.6.6 is board on windows. Issue formal notice of violation hearing on March 17, 2022 by certified mail. Certified mail received on March 24th, 2022. The property in City Hall on March 25th, 2022. The property was inspected on 4/20/2022 and still found to be in non-compliance. Photographs have been taken. The city has not had contact with the property owner. Recommendation time is May 28, 2022, or pay fines of $150 per day, including the administrative cost of $425.29.
With the certified mailing and the posting, the city has proper notice, even though the respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I do find the property remains in violation as cited. Although under section 12-18, the shopping cart was removed as of April 20th. I will allow until May 28th for the violations to be cured. After that, daily fines of $150 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is also awarded administrative costs of $425.29 payable no later than May 28th.
We're going to go to page 1 of the agenda. Item number 2, case number 19-4292. This is a public request for a lien reduction at 517 North L Street. Case name was Roy H. Haas Trust. Officer Dorcius.
City of Lake Grove Beach has entered to a stipulated agreement for a lien reduction with property owner JML Properties Investment LLC. The person executing this stipulated agreement has the authority to enter into the agreement and bind. There's a code enforcement lien on the property located at 517 North L Street in Lake Grove Beach. The owner has otherwise met all requirements of the sections 2-69.3 and 2-693.1 of city's code of ordinance relating to reduction of code enforcement liens. The lien existing on the property totaled to the amount of $51,000. The owner provided receipts totaling up to the amount of $5,921.59. The city will recommend to the special magistrate that an order be entered reducing the lien to 0.
The stipulated agreement for lien reduction, which appears to be in proper form. It also has attached to it the invoices that were in checks that were referenced. This is in proper form and the agreement is ratified and approved.
Next is item 3, case number 21-2708. This is a public request for a lien reduction at 709 Lucerne Avenue. Property owner is 705-711 Lucerne Avenue LLC, Officer Dorcius, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
The City of Lake Grove Beach and property owner 705-711 Lucerne Ave LLC has entered into a stipulated agreement that the person executed the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the agreement and bind. There's a code enforcement lien on the property located at 709 Lucerne Ave in Lake Grove Beach, Florida. The owner has otherwise met all requirements of sections 2-69.3 and 2-693.1 of city's code of ordinance relating to the reduction of code enforcement liens. The lien exists on the property total to $7,800. The owner agrees to pay $780 to settle and release the lien. The city will recommend to the special magistrate that an order be entered reducing the lien to $780. And the owner agrees to make the payment by May 30th of 2022. If the city does not receive the payment as set forth above, the stipulated agreement shall be null and void with no further action taken by the city, and the existing lien total to the amount of $7,800 shall be reinstated.
We have the stipulated agreement for lien reduction in the file and have reviewed it. It is in proper form and it is approved.
We're going to go to page 5 of the agenda. Item number 16, case number 21-413. Property address of 424 North J Street. Property owner is Warren D. Bruises, Officer Dorcius, and they're into a stipulated agreement.
The Lake Grove Beach and property owner Warren D. Brewers has entered to a stipulated agreement that the person signing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter to the stipulation and bind that the violation exists at the owner's property located at 424 North J Street in Lake Grove Beach. The owner is granted until October 31st, 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A. The owner understands and agrees that he will not be entitled to an extension of time to correct the violations and agree that he will not request the same. That if the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A by the set date forth in Section 3 above, a fine of $75 a day will be assessed. The owner understands that the City of Lake Grove Beach Code Compliance Officer will conduct a re-inspection of the property to verify if the necessary work has been completed to correct the violation in Exhibit A.
I do have the stipulated agreement in the file. I have reviewed it. With the attachment, it all appears to be in proper form and is approved.
Next is page 6, item number 17, case number 21-1300. Property address is 415 North L Street. Property owner is the estate of Michael J. Calhoun, Officer Dorcius.
Case number 21-1300, property owner Michael J. Calhoun. Property address 415 North Dell Street, property location 415 North Dell Street. This case was initiated off of failed license inspection on May 22nd, 2021. The existing violations, 12-21, areas free of garbage and trash, 2-75, 2-75.11 foreclosed registration, 2-75, 6.2 general requirements to repair or replace any damaged window frames and door. To repair or replace any damaged window frames and doors. If frames are replaced, then to obtain an approved permit. To repair missing exterior lights on the rear detached and all other exterior lights that may be missing. To repair the damaged wooden siding, a permit may be required. To repair, replace the rear rusted door on the structure. 15-25, nuisance injuries of health and morals of welfare. The owner was cited to exterminate and remove the infestation of bees from the property. The violation has been complied or resolved at this time. 14-35, use not speed inspection was resolved. The property utilities were disconnected on June 18th of 2021. 23-6.1, landscape regulation, that violation was resolved. 2-75.9, landscaping, that violation was complied. 21-33.3, prohibited parking, that violation was complied. 23.2-21, building permit violation was resolved. Owner needs to contact the building department for all permit inquiries. 23.2-24, certificate of appropriateness, that violation was resolved. A formal notice of violation of hearing was issued via certified mail on February 14th of 2022. The certified mail was not received. The property was posted on January 26th, 2022, as well as City Hall. The property last reinspection was on April 21st, 2022. Photographs of the property was taken. The city had no contact with the owner. The recommendation time for voluntary compliance is June 30th of 2022, or a fine of $100 per day, plus the admin cost of $425.29 to be paid by June 30th of 2022.
Certified mail was returned. The city posted the property in City Hall, so you have proper notice, even though the respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find property remains in violation of City Code Section 12-21, 2-75.11, and 2-75.6.2, and also 15-25. I'll accept the city's recommendation, allow the outstanding violations to be complied no later than June 30th. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is awarded administrative costs of $425.29 payable no later than June 30th. All other code sections cited in the notice are either complied or resolved.
Okay, next is item 18, case number 21-582. This is to a request to vacate a previous order at 1 North Golfview Road, Unit 500. Property owner is Georgianne Phibb, Officer Dorcius.
Okay, this is a vacant order. All right, case number 21-2582. The city is requesting to vacate the order finding violation, assessing fine and claim of lien that was entered into March 31st of 2022 by special magistrate hearing.
Will you sign the order that's in the file? You have a separate.
No, that's just a copy. What happened is it was brought to hearing. They had entered into a stipulated agreement and it was sitting in the warehouse and not provided to our division.
Oh.
So we want to vacate this order and then immediately I'm going to call it the stipulated agreement.
Okay. I'll grant the request to vacate the order.
Okay, so then next is item 19, case number 21-2582. Property address of 1 North Golfview Road, item, same file. Unit 500, Georgianne Phibb, Officer Dorcius, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
City of Lakewood Regional Property Owner Georgianne Phibb has entered into a stipulated agreement that the person signing the stipulated agreement have the authority to enter into the stipulation and bind that the violation exists at the owner's property located at 1 North Golfview Road, Unit 500 in Lake Worth Beach. The owner is granted until May 31st of 2022 to obtain compliance as specified in Exhibit A. Owner understands and agrees that he or she will not be entitled to an extension of time to correct the violations, and he or she will not request the same. If the owner does not correct the violation and bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A by the by the date set forth in section 3 above, a fine of $75 a day will be assessed. The owner understands that City of Lake Worth Beach Code Compliance Officer will conduct a reinspection of the property to verify whether necessary work has been completed to correct the violations in Exhibit A.
I have reviewed the stipulated agreement in the file. It is in proper form and it is approved.
Okay, next is item 20, case number 21-2759. Property address of 717 Lake Avenue. Property owner is 717 Lake Ave Holdings, Officer Dorsius, and they've entered into a stipulated agreement.
The City of Lake Worth Beach and the property owner 717 Lake Ave Holdings LLC has entered a stipulation agreement that the person signed the stipulated agreement has the authority to enter into the stipulation and bind that the violation exists at the owner's property address located at 717 Lake Ave in Lake Worth Beach. The owner is granted until July 29th of 2022 to attain compliance as specified in Exhibit A. The owner understands that he will not be entitled to the extension of time to correct the violation and agree that he will not request the same. That if the owner does not correct the violations and bring the property into compliance with the code section cited in Exhibit A by the date set forth in section 3 above, a fine of $100 per day will be assessed. The owner understands that City of Lake Worth Beach Code Compliance Officer will conduct a reinspection of the property to verify whether necessary work has been completed to correct the violations in Exhibit A.
I have the stipulated agreement in the file. It has been reviewed. It is in proper form and it is approved.
Okay, next is page 7, item 21, case number 22-52. Property address of 11 North J Street. Property owner is Carolyn J. Dickerson and Offer Shamaru, Officer Dorsius.
11 North J.
Yes, ma'am.
Case number 21-52, owner Carolyn Dickerson and offer, starts with an S. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it.
Shmary,
Yeah. 11 North J, the property address is 11 North J Street. Property location is 11 North J, I'm sorry. This was a field observation. The case initiated on January 11th of 2022. The existing violations is the Lake Worth Beach business tax receipt for the tenant Eunice Ortega Murphy, who does not have an active business license or an active Usanovsky inspection. The violation has been complied as 2-756.2 for general requirements. The formal notice of violation was issued via certified mail on February 14th of 2022. The certified mail was received on February 18th of 2022. The property was posted on February 15th of 2022, as well as City Hall. The property last reinspection was on April 22nd of 2022. Photographs of the property has been taken. The city had contact with the owner. The city recommends time for voluntary compliance to be May 30th of 2022 or a fine of $100 per day, plus the admin cost of $425.29 to be paid by May 30th of 2022.
City has proper notice in this case. The respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I find the property remains in violation as cited, except that property has complied with City Code 2-75.6.2. Will allow until May 30th for the outstanding violations to be cured. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. City's awarded administrative costs of $425.29, also payable no later than May 30th.
Next is item 22, case number 22-56, property address of 803 Lake Avenue. Property owner is LaFron Inc., Officer Dorsius.
Case number 2156, owner LaFron Inc., address is 880 South Ocean Boulevard, Lantana, Florida. Property location is 803 Lake Ave. This was a field observation. The case was initiated on January 11th of 2022. Existing violation is 14-32 for a business license for the law office and Florida Food Farm. 14-35 Usanovsky certification. The property owner, LaFran, failed their Usanovsky inspection on November 19, 2021 for a no-show. January 12th of 2022 for a no-show, and again on April 8th of 2022 for a no-show, and no active use not be inspection for Florida Food Farm. The violation has been complied is 2-756.2 for general requirements. Formal notice of violation was issued via certified mail on February 17, 2022. Certified mail was not received. The property was posted on February 25th of 2022 as well as City Hall. The property last inspected was on April 22nd, 2022. Photographs of the property was taken. The city had no personal contact with the owner. The recommendation time for voluntary compliance is May 30th of 2022 or a fine of $100 per day plus the admin cost of $425.29 to be paid by May 30th of 2022.
So was that May 3rd or 30th?
May 30th.
All right, with the posting following the certified mail that was returned, the city has proper notice, even though the respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, find the property remains in violation as cited, except for compliance with 2-75.6.2. I will allow until May 30th of 2022 for the outstanding violations to be cured. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. The city is also awarded administrative costs of $425.29 payable no later than May 30.
Next is item 23, case number 22-60. Property address of 811 Lake Avenue. Property owner is 811 Lake Ave LLC. Officer Dorcius.
Case number 22-60. Owner's address 811 Lake, Case number 22-60, owner 811 Lake Avenue LLC, address 6050 South Olive Ave in West Palm Beach, Florida. The property location is 811 Lake Avenue. This was a field observation. The case was initiated on January 12th of 2022. Existing violation 14-32, a business license. The owner does not have an active business license. 14-35, use NOSP inspection. The owner has no active use NOSP inspection. The tenant Periscope Antique failed to use NOSP inspection on April 5th, 2022. The use NOSP inspector's notes were provided below. The violation has been complied or resolved at this time is 12-18 for area free of garbage and trash. Formal notice of violation was issued via certified mail on February 16th of 2022. Certified mail was received on February 19th of 2022. The property was posted on February 25th on 2022 as well as City Hall. Last reinspection was conducted on April 22nd, 2022. Photographs of the property was taken. The city had no contact with the owner. Recommendation time for voluntary compliance is May 30th of 2022 or a fine of $100 per day plus the admin cost of $425.29 to be paid by May 30th of 2022.
Thank you. The city has proper notice with certified mail. The city also posted both City Hall and property. Even though the respondent is not present, we have proper notice. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I do find property remains in violation as cited, except for compliance with City Code 12-18 regarding garbage and trash has complied. I will allow until May 30th to cure the outstanding violations. After that, daily fines of $100 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. City is awarded administrative costs of $425.29, also payable no later than May 30th.
Okay, next, we're going to go to page 13 of the agenda, item number 42, case number 22-444. Property address is 830 North H Street. Property owner is Tricon SFR 2022 Bar LLC. Assistant Director Robinson.
Yolanda Robinson, City of Lakewood Beach, case number 22444. Owner Tricon SFR 2022 Borough LLC. Owner's address, Tricon American Home LLC. Property address is 830 North H Street. The violations are 1432 and LWCO 1435. Business license and use and occupancy inspection. The property was re-inspected on April 26, 2022. The formal notice of violation was issued on March 21st, 2022. Certified mail was received on April 18th, 2022. Property was re-inspected again on 4/26/2022 and found it to be in non-compliance. I do have photographs in the file. No personal contact with the owner. Recommended time, May 30th, 2022, or fines of $75 per day. An administrative cost of $425.29.
Okay, city has proper notice with the certified mail that was received, even though the respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation as cited. I'll allow until May 30th of 2022 for compliance. After that, daily fines of $75 per day will be assessed. Until compliance is achieved, the city is awarded administrative costs of $425.29 payable no later than May 30th.
Thank you.
Next is page 4 of the agenda, item number 44, case number 22-463, property address of 11 South D Street. Property owner is Coonan LLC, Assistant Director Robinson.
Case number 22-463, Coonan LLC, property location 11 South D as in David Street. Violations are LWCO 12-18, garbage, trash, and debris. LWCO 14-32 and LWCO 14-35 for the Lake Worth business license to include and improve use and occupancy inspection. 2-75.6.2 to pressure wash and paint, and 2-75.9 landscape maintenance. The property was re-inspected on April 26, 2022 and found to be in non-compliance. The formal notice of violation hearing was issued on 3/17/2022, and it was returned undelivered. The property was also posted at City Hall and the property location at 3/21/2022. There are photographs in the file and no personal contact with the owner. Recommended time, May 30th, 2022, or $75 per day. Administrative cost, the city is seeking administrative cost of $425.29.
Thank you. With the posting at City Hall and the property following the return of certified mail, the city has proper notice, even though the respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and evidence, we'll find property remains in violation as cited. Allow until May 30th of 2022 for compliance. After that, daily fines of $75 per day are assessed until compliance is achieved. City is also awarded administrative costs of $425.29 payable no later than May 30th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that concludes the regular agenda. We'll go to the authorization of foreclosure. All of the following cases, the orders have been recorded for more than 90 days. Case number 20-77, case number 20-231, case number 20-1763, case number 20-1765, case number 20-2229, case number 20-2380, case number 21-74, and case number 21-91, case number 21-466, and case number 21-921.
Based on the testimony, the liens have been recorded for more than 90 days. It's noticed by certified mail and posting on all of those.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Find proper notice. I will authorize foreclosure and sign the appropriate order on each of those matters. Concludes the agenda for today. Is there
Yes,
anything
sir.
else? Then it is 11:39, and having concluded our business, we stand adjourned.